Hey everyone, it's John with Vermont Homesteader, and today's July 4th, 2024, and this is our 248th anniversary since we declared our independence and became a nation, separated ourselves from Great Britain and King George. And on this day, I just like to think back to 1776 and think about those men that signed the Declaration of Independence. Some very famous men: Sam Adams, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, John Hancock, and then many names that most Americans don't even know. But men from all 13 colonies, some of them very wealthy, some of them who knew by going up against the greatest war machine in the world at the time that they could lose everything, that they could lose their lives, they could lose their families, they could lose their land, they could lose absolutely everything. And still, they decided to sign the Declaration of Independence and move us to be a free nation without a king, with a representative form of government. And on this day, I usually post on Facebook the Declaration of Independence, and I'm sure many of you know it, many of you have read it, but I'm sure some of you have never heard it before. And I like to remind myself of what it says every year on this day. So here it goes. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impelled them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government. Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to the effect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer that while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies. No, cat. Cat came to visit. And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. The Declaration goes on to list the many grievances that the colonies had against the king. Many of these grievances exists today. The incredible tax burden that we're under is absolutely ridiculous. The tax burden that the colonies were under was much less than what we're under today. And they decided to separate themselves from the government that controlled them at the time. And I'm not saying that we should do that, but I am saying that people need to get out and vote. People need to pick the candidate that is the candidate of peace, the candidate who doesn't want to start new wars, the candidate that wants to put America first above all other nations, that decides not to continue to give our precious resources away to other nations, and will take care of Americans first. Homeless Americans, drug-addicted Americans, Americans who work very hard every day and still can't make ends meet. Those are who we bear responsibility for, and no one else. So you need to get out and vote. You need to vote wisely. You need to understand the candidates. It's buggy out here. And what they're going to do. You need to test them, try them, see if they're honest people, if they really are going to do what they say they're going to do, if they're people of loyalty to America. For too long, we have sat by and just said, the government will take care of us. Well, the government hasn't taken care of us. We're now almost 35 trillion in debt. We are sending our forces to the Middle East. We're sending our weapons to Eastern Europe. And it just doesn't look good out there. And when you read this declaration, these men decided to become free people. In fact, the first articles were very close to anarchy in the United States. To each their own. The states were very independent, had a lot of autonomy and authority, and we have just fallen so far from that. We've created a nanny state, and I hope everybody just takes the time to think about this document, as well as the Constitution and the Bill of Rights today. It is our country's birthday, 248 years. In another 2 years, we're going to have a 250-year celebration. And I was alive in 1976 for the 200th celebration. And we are one of the longest serving or existing constitutional republics in the world. We may be the longest constitutional republic. And that's another thing. We are a constitutional republic. We have a representative form of government. We are not a democracy. A lot of people say that we're a democracy and they need to save democracy. Well, they don't know what they're talking about, and you shouldn't listen to those people. We are a constitutional republic. We always have been. We always should be. And I just hope everybody, among the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the time with family today, take a moment to just think about our country, how it was formed, and what men sacrificed and what families sacrificed in order for us to have this great land and this freedom that we have. Thanks all for listening. If you like this video and the others I have on the channel, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.